My name's Ewan. I specialise in Cumbrian holiday lets and have over 40 hours a week, as well as the experience of more than 30 properties to dedicate to an investor who wants to make a world-class portfolio and has more than £100,000. Do you know anybody like this?
Good evening, guys. I'm going to be taking you through one of our example deals today. This is actually one that's very close to my heart because this was the first holiday let that's basically mine. So I took our decorator around it. I've worked up a really good bit of rapport with the vendors as well. And this place is absolutely beautiful. It's really beautiful. So let's get started. So first of all, when we purchase a holiday let, because these are big investments, they are 8-bedroom properties, we make sure that they meet the 6 Cs. Now, if you haven't heard of the 6 Cs before, I'm going to just pop a video up here and you can go and watch that. So this house was marketed as a 9-bed B&B, and there was owner's accommodation downstairs as well. So in total, it's 10 beds. So it met our rule of capacity, as with some of the rooms being singles, it can sleep a maximum of 16 guests. It's in Penrith, which is a wonderful town. It's just on the edge of the Lake District National Park in Cumbria. And we actually have another property just 2 doors down from this one. So we already knew that was the work done for us. We already knew that it would meet the city criteria, which means that we can meet the capital growth trends over time. So the city criteria are essentially a couple of boxes that you want to tick so that you get the national capital growth. What's the capital growth, you say? Well, essentially, on average, UK house prices go up 7.9% every year, which means that every 10 years, they double. We want to be able to capture that so that we can get equity growth in these properties. And I'll show you why up here in a video called the 4 profit levers, because we want to make sure that we can refinance these. So to check that the property will rent well as a holiday let, we consult our experts at cottages.com. Now, we use cottages.com. Our mentor will swear by sites, but I think that sites tend to get better the further down the country you go. Cottages tend to be quite better in the north. And the total bookings for this first year were 45 to 62 bookings in the first year. Extremely encouraging, because your first year is usually your worst performing year. When you get into your second year, that's when you are getting things like repeat bookings. People will go back to where they live and say, oh, we just have this amazing holiday. They'll tell their friends who will go and then book there. So you get word of mouth as well. You've been up on these holiday property sites for a while as well. It's just easier in the second year. So for our first year to be getting 45 bookings and 62 bookings on the top end and earning anywhere between 112,440 and 153,372, that was brilliant. So we combined this with our predicted expenses. So we had a look at the cash flow we get from this deal, and actually the numbers that I've got written down here they're actually for a different deal. The numbers we got for this were just a hair off £30,000 on the lower end, and at the top end, just a little over £53,000 a year profit. So lastly, the last C that we make sure, those 6 Cs, we make sure that for each holiday let, we hold £10,000 of contingency. And the reason for that is that holiday lets are quite a seasonal strategy. And you want to hold a little bit of rainy day money, essentially, for rainy days when people aren't really holidaying. So those days tend to be the days when your holiday let will rent the best is around about Christmas and around the summer holidays. So here are the figures from our initial research. The purchase price on this property is 550 grand. We didn't get a discount on this one, and I'll come on to why we didn't negotiate a discount later. 25% deposit meant that we got in at 137,500. Stamp duty and fees just coming in at 23,500. Refurb and furniture is 15,000. It's actually going to be way below that. And again, that plays into why we didn't get a discount, and I'll touch on that in a bit. And here are our figures for the first year. So I've already given you those numbers from earlier about what we were predicted to get. The mortgage payments are going to be for that first year, £25,781. The bills, 7,800. The marketing agent commission. So the reason that it can start at 20,000, just a hair over 20,000, and go all the way up to over 27,500 is if we go back to this slide here and we have a look at the bookings. Obviously, the fewer bookings they take, if they only take 45 bookings, we're going to be paying them less commission. If they take 62 bookings, we are going to be paying them more commission. It's the same with the cleaning and the laundry. You know, you have more people in your property, you're going to have more linens to clean. The maintenance and miscellaneous, we usually just budget £3,000. Really, we probably shouldn't have stuck that extra 600 on there, but maybe something does come up. Now, you might just think for a second, actually, marketing agent commission, that's potentially more than your mortgage. Why? That's an awful lot. Are you really, really going to pay that? 100%. The reason that I'll do that is because the marketing agents I mentioned, cottages earlier, they're fantastic. They pump millions and millions and millions into getting the right guest type into the right property. I'm happy to pay them that much if they spend millions. I'm not going to spend the millions, let's just say. So total expenses means that we're going to be spending on this property somewhere between 82,740 per year to just a little over £100,000 a year. So that means that we can now work out the return on the capital invested for this property. Our total investment, so this is everything that we need to do before the property is set up, is 176,000. Our total profit is, like I said, just a hair under 30,000 and just a little bit over 51,500, which means that the total return on capital invested is 16.9% all the way up to 29.3%. I will take this deal all day because that is just from cash flow. So the asset growth at 5%. So I mentioned earlier that the national average is 7.9%, which means that that's due to the compound effect. The price of your property is going to double every 10 years. Now, if you put your asset growth at 5% and be just a bit more conservative, your property will double in price every 15 years instead. The idea of that is so that if there is any fluctuation, because there is naturally fluctuation, 7.9% is the average, but you'll have years where it's higher than that, years where it's lower than that. Probably not that many years where it's bang on that. If you adjust for, if you basically plan for 5%, then even if you have, you know, a poorer fluctuation that tends to go underneath that 7.9%, you probably, you know, it just gives you a better idea of what you could expect in the worst case scenario. It's likely going to be higher than this, and obviously the longer we have these properties, because we never ever sell, the more likely we are to be at that 7.9% of that on average. The discount return on capital invested is £0, because like I said, we didn't negotiate a discount, so I haven't included it in there. However, when we talked to the vendors, this property was a B&B, and they were very happy to just leave all the furnishings in there, barring, you know, their own bed and a couple of trees that they'd grown from seeds that I'm 100% happy for these guys to take those because it's sentimental value to them. So I was very happy to just not negotiate a discount essentially on this one because it's so fantastic. We're going to have such a short turnaround time as well because there's no work to do on the property. They've kept it absolutely immaculate. I'm quite happy to just buy it full whack essentially. I quoted £15,000 as well for refurb earlier. Unlikely. In fact, I'd be very surprised if it was £5,000. But we go for those high figures just really to be quite cautious because we buy these big properties as big investments. And if a big investment goes wrong, well, then it's a big problem. We want to be absolutely sure that we have got a property that is going to make its money back. So if we do go quite conservative with these numbers, there's a good reason for it. So after all that, the total return on capital invested is actually somewhere in the region of between £57,200 and just a little shy of £80,000 on an investment of £176,000. So in year one, we are actually, in just 1 year, making something like a 32.5% to 45% return on our money. That is brilliant. So here's the story for this one. Purchase was agreed in May 2022. The sellers have bookings that they want to honor. They've actually got bookings with the police as well that we're probably going to honor as well because they're just like, it's a rolling year. Once a year, they shut the place for a week and the police use it. We're just going to honor those bookings. The only difference is that we're going to have to hire a private caterer for them. Whereas, of course, when it was at B&B, part of a B&B package is that you get catered for. That's the only difference that's really going to be for the police here. So they have bookings that they wish to honor until November. We're going to be exchanging with delayed completion on this one. We're going to exchange in September and actually get the keys to the property before just a little before halfway through November. And what we're going to be doing is essentially getting our photographer into the property before and getting pictures of it up on cottages.com so that people can book for Christmas. We are going to get the property in November, and then when Christmas comes along, people are going to be able to go in and enjoy their Christmas together in here. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing this place with Christmas trees in it. It's going to be magical. So yeah, due to complete in November. Refurbishment works estimated to take 1 week. Again, 1 week of refurb is probably too long because we're really not going to be moving anything around. It might well be done in a day. But it's going to be a very short period of time. And again, I'm very happy to pay their asking price when this is the sort of turnaround that we need to get it from a B&B into an amazing holiday let. And it's due to be live on cottages.com by that exchange date in September, ready for guests to come and enjoy their Christmas holiday in December. I'm just going to pause here so that you can pause the video and read these reviews from our guests. And I'd just like to take a bit of time to talk about our wonderful investors, because the chances are that if I've sent this video to you, it's because you are considering being an investor with Meridian Accommodation. First of all, I'll let you read this. So the reason that I really, really like this particular slide is because if you are not in property, a lot of the time you might know somebody who has their money sat, as I do, okay? Sorry, I'm not the person with the money sat, but you might know somebody with their money sat in an investment plan, or it's sat in the bank and it's just losing value, whether it's to inflation, if it's sat in an investment plan, maybe the stock market has just actually been losing money out of it and they are below what they put at the start of the year. It's just not a good situation for a lot of people at the moment. And this is brilliant because we are able to help. Any other time, before I was in property, if someone showed me their phone, they were down on their investment plan, their bank was giving them a pathetic rate of return at, 0.1% interest or something like that. And all you can really do is look at that and just commiserate. Oh, yeah, it's terrible at the moment. No. We can help. This is the difference. We can do something for you rather than just commiserate and say, oh, yeah, the world's really bad. We can actually help you, because when you invest with us, you're going to be getting an interest rate on your money that beats the bank by a long shot. It's going to beat the bank by a long shot. It's going to be significantly better. So, of course, we have an investment term. There is a minimum of 12 months. And then on this particular investment, this is how we worked it out. There was a minimum of 12 months. And then if the investor wanted their money back, it was essentially they would give us 4 months notice. The return on their investment was 17 times higher than the interest rate they were getting in their bank, which is phenomenal. In a year's time, if you invest with us, in a year's time, you could have 17 times more money than you would have had if you just let it sit in the bank. Don't get comfortable. Don't let your money die because you're too comfortable and you're not willing to invest, essentially, because there's so much that you can do with your money. You're providing amazing, amazing holidays to our guests here. If you want to go up here, there's a video on the 6 C's of holiday letting up there, okay? And in there, I just touch on what our audience is. But I'll very quickly say it again. Now, our audience are generally baby boomers, because right now they might not have long left, some of them. If you consider the baby boomer generation started in 1946 and ended in sort of 1964, some of them might not have many holidays left. They might not have many summers, many Christmases left. They also don't really want to go abroad if there's another COVID shutdown. They're away from the NHS. And there are some places they've probably been to a lot of places that now aren't very safe anymore. Egypt or China or somewhere like that, where it's not safe for them to holiday now, and they've probably been there. They want to have a holiday in the country that they grew up in the amazing places where we buy our holiday lets at Meridian, with their legacy with them, their family, the two generations below them a lot of the time. That's why we buy Big Sleep 16s. Okay, they want to have these amazing holidays, and we can provide that. You can help people have the holidays and just enjoy their autumn years. Really, really enjoy their autumn years in these beautiful properties. So it's win, win, win. Our guests have amazing holidays. You get an amazing return, and we are able to make some brilliant, brilliant changes to people's lives by buying these awesome properties. I'd like to thank you for watching this video. And if you want to get in touch with us, our details will be on that end slide. For some reason, it didn't come up at the end there, but I'm just going to be showing you our email and our phone number details here. Please get in touch with us. And if you're going to invest, you can invest with confidence in us, 100%. I've got plenty of the videos, and they'll be up on the other side of the screen there. And if there's anything that you'd like to know, if there is any more questions that you have, there you are. You can get in touch with us. We'd love to talk to you. Take care.